Oh, jeez. Hey, who's in here? Yeah, I know I'm not Joyful. I am taking over for Joyful today. This is Benny Boy hosting JA Debates. And I am going to be hosting today, I think, with Volcy. If nobody knows who that is, Volcy is a member of our community who has his own channel, Volcy Talks. It's also on YouTube, so make sure you look him up, Volcy. He's pretty great. I'm going to actually send out some invites here. Yeah, I know. I hacked Joyful's account, so with his permission. So it's not really hacking, I guess, if it's like permitted, right? Let me see. What's up, Zach? So yeah, hopefully we can get some debates going. Invite. Oh. I'm gonna have Crystal come up for a bit. If you're okay.
What are you doing?
I didn't mean to invite you like that. I meant to
Okay, then let me do this for you real quick. You guys tap that screen, share the live, send Benny some love. Yeah, do all the good stuff, you guys, and let's make this a great show. Once we get the live up to 5,000 shares, 5,000 likes and 100 shares, it really helps boost it. But also, don't forget to hit that heart me up here. It's that little heart right next to the name up there. You send one, it's 1 coin. But then go back up, touch that heart again, and you'll see that a little black box has opened up that says claim. Click that and do all the other ones, like add a comment and then claim. Every time you claim your points, you level up JA Debates in their league, okay? And as they level up in their league, they are boosted more in the algorithm. And yes, it is another hoop that the algorithm wants us to jump through. But you guys can do it easily while you're tapping. Just heart me, claim those points, and do all the good stuff. Have a good show.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I just had to share this out a little bit. All right, everybody, let's see what we can do. God doesn't exist. I don't know if you guys knew that. Well, at least the Christian God doesn't exist. I can't say so much for like Zeus, because at least Zeus could kind of explain why evil exists in the world, because like Zeus gets like jealous and like mad and stuff, and technically like the Old Testament God is kind of like that, but not the Christian God. So there's a problem there. And that's why we say Christians, request if you disagree. You can't really read that. And hopefully we can get Volcy up here and get this show all rolling. There he is. All right, invite Volcy. There, I gave him an invite. Go see how this goes. Dude, what's up?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to...
Yeah, take your time. No worries. You can go on mute or whatever.
Appreciate you.
Just wanted to make sure we had the right setup here. I think we're good. Joyful's very specific how he wants his show set up. And since he's not here to host his own show, and I'm doing it for him, along with Volcy, we wanted to make sure we're doing it right, because we care about our friends here in our community. And if you care, share out this live to all your favorite Christians or least favorite, and let's see if we can get some discussions going. We don't have to just talk about God. We could talk about Jesus. We could talk about like even politics, really. There's a lot going on. Did you guys see that like Trump and Putin were like riding around together in a limousine and kind of like holding hands and loving on each other up in Alaska, I think. And then so Trump goes to Alaska to meet with Putin. So he meets Putin like most of the way to Russia, but then Vladimir Zelensky has to like come all the way to DC. So that's interesting. Either way, we have a number of things that we can discuss. let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get any good conversations going, and yeah, we'll have a good time. I do want to make one more announcement. I won't be hosting for too long. I think Joyful is going to come on if you want to stay on Volcy onto this account. So it's either I don't think the show will turn off. He will just log on and he'll just take over. But yeah, because my mom's coming down to Omaha where I'm at because she's got to go to the doctor tomorrow. So yeah. We got a lot going on. Tap that screen, everybody. Let's see if we can get something going here. You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm trying to get my background up, but for some reason, it's TikTok isn't allowing it. Let me do this. Let me close it out. I'm gonna come back up, see if that works. All right.
No worries. TikTok always being so helpful and just so user friendly, Yeah, let's get those likes up to over 5,000. Hopefully we can get some people in here, get on the FYP. I was wondering if, since I was casting from Joyful's account, if it would do anything for the FYP. So that's interesting because we aren't really in the same part of the country from each other. So I don't know if that changes anything at all. Oh, there's Volcy. Wait, so, okay. The guest thing moved. That's weird.
I don't know what it is, but TikTok is not.
Do I have you on as a co-host, maybe? I don't know. No, you're...
I'm not sure, but for some reason, it won't let me do the background.
You're all right. I got the background. No worries. You can just do your regular background.
All right, cool. Not a problem.
Or whatever. I mean, just whatever you got.
Yeah, cool. Not a problem. I mean, it's really weird because it's I got it. I got the background, but when I try to press the enhance thing, it just doesn't do it. So it's weird.
Yeah, it looks like they changed up a bunch of stuff in the user interface. Mm-hmm. How you been, buddy? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been all right. I went. Me and my wifey went through what we went through, so that was tough. I had to stay off, not doing anything for at least a month. I came back on it, and then my computer crapped out on me twice. So I just got a new laptop now, and it's basically one of those laptops that companies give to you when you're working from home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just said, you know what? I can't use the company laptop to do this. So I said I'm just gonna go ahead and get one of those because they're reliable, and it's been.
Honestly, the one that I have from my work is such a nice. It's a $2,000 laptop, but I don't know. They get a deal on them or something.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a business account, you're gonna get a way bigger deal on it. So it's dope to have that. So I said I might as well go ahead and grab one of those and start doing those lives, and I'll figure out my CPU later. It's the power. Yeah, it's the power supply. The power supply burns out twice, so it's definitely not the power supply. It's something else. It gotta be something on my motherboard or my graphics card. It's not cooling down. There's something going on. You know what I mean? Because
did you up? Okay, so this was your last one, a laptop, or was it a tower?
My last one was also a tower, but that one the hard drive just crashed, right? But this new one I got, the power supply just is not keeping up. So I'm thinking it's either gonna be my CPU or one of the fans are not going off. And that's caused the power supply to short out, So.
Honestly, what I would do is just unplug. I would open it up and unplug every little power, everything that comes from the power supply, and just plug it all back in. Remember where just unplug it, plug it back in real quick, just to reseat everything. Otherwise, I don't know. It when it's power supply, that would mean to me more so maybe video cards trying to pull too much juice. Or your memory is trying to pull too much juice, because I know that exactly. The power supply gets a little fried out with the memory, but I don't know. Either way,
Yeah, sure. Hey,
Yeah,
Mittens, I appreciate that.
Mitten said they'll ping you and help you troubleshoot. They'll get. I mean, we got some pretty smart people in our Discord, so we are up on the Deconstruction Junction website or YouTube page, and I think we're going to be on the JA Debates YouTube. So,
Okay, awesome.
yeah, as long as we're all good there, then I can stop trying to figure everything out, multitasking.
Yeah. It's a hard multitask, but yeah, guys. So where are all the Christians? Let's go ahead and talk.
Yeah, usually it takes a little bit. We got to get some sharing out. I think we're starting to hit the FYP though. The numbers are starting to bounce up.
Numbers starting to go up. Yeah. Once we hit the FYP, those numbers start going up. I just cannot figure out why TikTok will not let me do the background. Like it says, I see the effects thing, and it just doesn't let me do it. I don't. It's really weird. Yeah, but for some reason, TikTok is not letting me do the effects for me to change my background. But whatever, we'll figure that out. We're all good.
So, Volcy, do you think that God exists? Have you ever thought that God existed?
Yeah, I was a Christian for most of my life. You know what I mean?
Really? I didn't know that.
I grew up in the church. My dad's an old school Pentecostal pastor. You know?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know those Pentecostals, the speak in tongues, those people. Yeah, I went to one of those churches. You know what I mean? So yeah, coming out of it was really difficult because once you come out of it, you're afraid of losing that community. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
hold on, Lucy, you went to my church? Oh, wow. that's a small world. You went to my church?
Did you got an episode of Shattered Foundations?
Yeah, I do have an episode of Shattered Foundations.
All right. I didn't know. I guess that you grew up Pentecostal. Wait, Lucy says that you two grew up together.
Yeah, we grew up together in MOC. Yeah, we did. Yeah, Lucy, I remember. Hey, how's it going? How square I was. You know, Brother Alvarez was one of the nicest guys in the church. Her dad. Yeah, her dad was one of the nicest guys in my church, man.
So wait, is she part of the community?
She follows me. I guess she is part of the community. That's
cool.
amazing.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah, She also left the church, so it's like, man, it's a small world, very, very small world. Lucy would tell you, my dad was like one of the head pastors, so coming out of this it's hard. It's difficult. You're afraid of losing the community. You're afraid of getting out of touch with people who you grew up with, and at the church, all my closest friends came from the church. Like, my best friend, who's gonna be like my best man at my wedding, I was the best man at his wedding. We met at the church. You know what I mean? That's where we came up with my first girlfriend. Church. You know what I mean?
Still friends with them?
Yeah, I'm still friends with them. Well, a few of them I'm still friends with.
Sure.
But it's just they stayed in the belief and I didn't, and I was afraid that coming out of the belief I would lose them. But luckily, they're one of those guys that, like, you have your own journey. So I didn't lose any of them. You know what I mean? Which is I'm really happy about. But yeah, it was hard because those first couple of years, I'm thinking I'm not gonna be able to keep that community. You know what I mean? And the fact that I was still able to retain them, it makes me happy.
Like whenever I don't know, like I've like talked to people a lot, online as you have, and like. It's weird how people act like if like they knew somebody or if they were to drop out, it's almost like they unalive or something. It's like they're gone forever. Like, I guess, I mean, according to like the other Christians, like their eternal soul is, I guess, like condemned at that point. But I don't know. It's just see, I never was in the church. Like I went to like Catholic church for like 6 years, like growing up. And, I would like go to like Catholic mass and stuff, but like I never believed. I was just like, this is weird. And this is just like something I gotta do because I'm young and my parents take me here. But like, I don't know. I never really took it that seriously. And I don't know, like a lot of the people that I knew, I guess I went to like a public school, so maybe that was another thing too. Like they didn't really also go to church, or if they did, it was always some other like really like Lutheran or just very like not so hands-on-y kind of church.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just it wasn't really like a big part of my like growing up. But since I didn't believe, I was that like edgelord atheist kid growing up. So yeah, Benny is joyful today. I am joyful.
Yeah. But yeah, with us, it was very, very, very serious. You know what I mean? Like my dad even told me, there's no such thing as being Haitian and not being Christian. Is that serious with them? You know what I mean? So it's the difficult part of it is that we tie it to your identity. You know what I mean? So once it's tied to your identity, it's very hard to decouple that, and decoupling that kind of hurts. You know what I mean? It hurts when you do that. But I've always learned something through this journey. I learned that your beliefs and your opinions are separate from who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your beliefs and your opinions are like a box of toys that you're carrying around with you. They're not you as a person. They can switch out. They can change. All that can happen. You know, and that's what I had to learn.
Hey.
What's up, Vivacious? Vivacious?
Yeah, everyone pronounces it wrong. I did that as a tongue twister.
Can I get your age real quick, just for TikTok purposes?
18.
18. All right. And do you believe that God exists? Because he doesn't.
Oh yeah, he does. So here, follow me here on this. The very first law of thermodynamics, do you know what that means?
So we're going straight into Newtonian physics, huh?
No, that's not Newtonian physics. Not necessarily. It's just simply energy.
Sure. Okay. So keep going.
So, do you know that energy can't be created nor destroyed? That's simply what it states in thermodynamics, the first law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know what the first law of thermodynamics means. Go ahead and get your point. What are you trying to say?
So my point being is this. There's only two theories that could ever come into existence. The universe always was, or the universe always wasn't. If the universe always wasn't, such as the two theories of the Big Bang, such as nothing creating something, which is quite absurd. Literally, nothing creating energy. However, once... Huh?
We don't believe that.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
don't believe
That's
that
why I
either.
wanted to move on to the second theory that Einstein created, which was the singularity theory. However, this is still something, hence claiming that the universe was eternal. Hence, as we know, energy can't be created or destroyed, certainly does claim that. It states that the universe would be eternal. However, in thermodynamics, we have something called entropy. So there's two sides of this. Hear me out.
Hold on. So now in the law with entropy, we have to make a distinction there because that is only in a closed system. We do not know if our universe is a closed system. I mean, it's most likely a closed system, but since we can't like go past the singularity point, it's best for us to just assume we don't know. And entropy only works in a closed system. It could be an open system. It could be that we are in a black hole and that there's actually matter and energy coming through the entrance of that black hole into our universe. Could be. Not saying that I subscribe to that thought, but do need to make the distinction that entropy only happens in a closed system.
Would you elaborate what a closed system is to the audience, please? And
So,
also, I would like to know.
So like Earth is an open system, right? So we get the energy from the sun. We're not just our own little like shell that isn't getting any extra energy. So the sun is shining energy onto the Earth. That's why we get heat, you know, that's why weather happens. That's how Earth gets like a lot of things. It's how plants live. It's how Earth thrives. Now, if Earth was a closed system, that would be like the energy is only what is contained within the Earth. So yes, you're right. Entropy does mean that like order, like over time, will go into disorder until basically like a homogeneity, or like where all the particles just basically kind of come to like a heat death is what they call it. Basically, They stop vibrating. They get farther enough away from each other that they don't need to, you know, bounce into each other. So we aren't a closed system in Earth. Now, the universe, we don't know because we haven't seen outside of the universe, right?
Well, yes.
So
We've only
we
been
haven't
able to
gone
see the
farther back
observable universe.
than the Big Bang, you know, like mathematically. So we just don't know. So the law of entropy is an interesting one because if the universe is a closed universe, then yeah, sure, we'll come to maybe a heat death, or you know, we have like millions of other theories of the universe, which is like the multiverse theory. There's like bubble universe theory where other universes are in another dimension, basically like lobbing in with our universe, and that's creating like little galaxy clusters, and it explains why galaxy clusters are like where they are in the universe. And like you can keep going on and on. There's like tons of different things. I would just more so is just say like we're better off not knowing. And one thing's for sure, there was never nothing, right? Like I don't even know what nothing means. Like I couldn't even like fathom what nothing is.
Right, because I was going to bring that up as well, because nothingness cannot be a thing. Because the moment you try to detect nothing, what does it become?
Yeah, something.
It becomes something. Yeah, exactly. So nothingness cannot be a thing. There's no such thing as nothing.
Right.
Yes, that was the point. Now, this is where I was going to talk about entropy. If it would, let's say we don't know if our universe is a closed system or open system. We've only been able to observe it. But wouldn't that wouldn't change the fact that there's only a certain finite amount of energy? Now, of course, there's an infinite amount of energy that's in the sense of not usable. Like, you know, Schrodinger's cat, like the box, if you put energy, like you put an apple in a box where the energy could not escape, the energy in it will still be the same level, but the cycle of it would eventually end.
That's not, well, I mean, like, okay, what you're talking about
Schrodinger's
is,
cat?
That's not Schrodinger's
Yeah, that's not Schrodinger's cat.
I know what you're talking about. So the thought experiment you're discussing is that if you put, and this goes along with like chaos theory.
Yes.
So let me kind of explain it better here. So if you were to put a apple, just like a red apple, into a box that is infinitely like in time going to just be a sealed box with just that apple, entropy means that all the particles within that apple, just like a TV screen, like the pixels in a TV screen, those particles will shatter and they will rearrange, and a lot of the time it'll be just static. And that's what entropy is, right? It's just chaos and static disorder.
The best way I thought of it.
The particles of that apple, if you give it enough time, will turn into everything you could think of that those particles can make up. So like little miniature you, me, and Volcy will be in that box at one point in time. A miniature Eiffel Tower will form in that box at one point in time. 50 apples that are smaller than the apple will form in that box at one point in time. Don't get me wrong, it will be mostly just scattered noise, but at certain points in time, the particles will arrange just enough to create absolutely everything if you have an infinite amount of time. So that's that whole thought experiment. Schrodinger's cat is just describing superposition. What superposition is the cat is both dead and alive. So you don't know which one it is until you open the box, because the box is like connected to a system that's based off of a like an entangled particle. And you don't know which way that particle is spinning until you observe it, which means the wave function, which is, you know, like the superposition collapses into the particle, and we can actually like see which way the electrons are spinning.
Yes, I see. I was just going off of the concept of entropy as, I guess you can say, the cycle of energy itself. That's the best way I was being able to visualize it, and I just used Schrodinger's cat as a representation of energy not being able to escape from a system.
How does this get us to a God existing or not?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that was my initial claim. Necessarily, if entropy is necessarily that the cycle of energy will eventually come to an ending point, and what's it called? The only option is that the universe should have been eternal. This is also a very big contradiction, showing that if the universe isn't eternal, it had to be placed in a place. It has to be created in a part where time didn't exist initially, necessarily. Where didn't exist initially is that something or someone, which we like to classify as God, or most religious beliefs coined the name a spiritual being, such as we know as God.
So let me understand. If the universe was in fact eternal, it had to be created by something that's outside of space and time.
No, if the universe was eternal, then there would be no God. However, entropy disclaims this due to the fact of saying that energy will eventually come to its ending cycle, such as an apple. However, since the universe is so vast, the cycle will take, I don't know how long, like forever.
Yeah, at least
it's our perception of forever.
Or at least our perception of forever is kind of like a trillion years. So that's like our perception of forever. But what I want to say is that let's say we give it to you that the energy of the universe kind of ends at a certain point, right? Let's just say we give that to you. We don't know if that's true or not, but let's say we give that to you. How does that point to a God still?
It is true. Entropy, we've been able to see it and classify it. We've been able to see it onto a quantum scale. Even in, like, for instance, a good example of this would be like, have you ever heard of, like,
hold on a quantum,
in a complete vacuum?
On a quantum scale, they see that particle stop moving?
No, they see it die. They see it. I don't know necessarily how to describe it. The best example I can give is they just die. They come to a certain cycle, they end. A very good example would also be like a black hole diffusing. I don't know. There's many examples, but mainly I only understand the concept.
Black holes can dissipate, right? But what I'm talking about is when it comes to like the quantum level, what they've seen is that they've seen particles come in and out of existence, right? But I don't see what you're saying, like completely die. They don't stop vibrating. They still all vibrating. They just come in and out of existence, out of the universe all the time, which means that energy is still passing through, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose I misplaced my words there. I mean necessarily not on a quantum level. I suppose more in the sense of like the observation level of black holes. I don't know why I said that, but I guess it just slipped out when I was just talking.
But Stephen Hawking's like found out that Hawking's radiation like emits from black holes. So like the whole balance of energy thing still like holds true.
Well, yes, there is cause and effect, but you have to also account for the ratios of not all what the black hole consumes is going to be emitted like the same amount, like a fusion reactor would. Well,
yeah, this is all very nice and interesting. How does this tell us that a God exists?
Right.
I just told you how it exists, how he would exist.
Not really. You just said that energy ends at a certain point, therefore God. That doesn't really connect. It's a non sequitur.
Right.
I explained it quite elaborately. I said if entropy. Hold up, let me. Do you need to say something?
I was just like trying to like kind of jump to the point here.
Yeah,
so your God would exist coming out of nothing then, right? Like something would have created this God out of nothing, or this God created it himself out of nothing?
Yeah, no,
because Viva, here's the thing, like in our position right now, we're giving it to you that energy is going to stop at one point. Fine, let's just say that it does, right? We don't know if that's true or not. Let's just go ahead and say that it does because of entropy.
Sure.
Exactly, the heat death of the universe, let's say that's true, right?
Okay.
How does that show a God exists? Because all you're really saying right there is that energy stops at a point, therefore God. That's a non sequitur.
So, okay, look. So energy can't be created nor destroyed. If without entropy, yes, the universe would be eternal due to the fact of thinking of it like this. Since energy can't be created nor destroyed, it always is as it always was. Hence, there would be no technically a God. However, entropy, as simplified as possible, is technically the cycle of energy itself into an ending point. With this is technically a contradiction to the eternal universe.
So what entropy is just like order going into disorder until like homogeneity, like I was saying, like until the particles can't interact with each other anymore, right?
Yeah, the ending cycle of energy. I'm simplifying it.
So the universe would still exist. There just wouldn't be energy.
There would be no usable energy.
Right. It wouldn't be
so
like
if the universe existed for a very long time, hence eternal, this wouldn't mean we would have usable energy at this very moment.
Right. But see, that's where I said we don't know that. Like, we just don't know. So, like, why are we all of a sudden creating
we don't know.
Figure that's
Exactly.
like shaping the universe?
Exactly. It doesn't tell us that a God exists either. Like we could, because like I said, we're giving it to you that energy is going to stop at a
It
point.
isn't.
That doesn't mean
it
God
isn't
exists.
directly. It indirectly tells us necessarily into the point. Well, I just told you if the universe. Not have any more usable energy.
Right. Even if
We
we
already-
were to
we already
say
did-
that the universe is finite, that doesn't show that it had to be a God that created it.
Right. And
If the universe is finite, the first theory of nothing coming from something coming from nothing, we already disclosed that it couldn't
We're not
be
saying
true.
that.
That's
It
absurd.
doesn't mean that something came from nothing either.
So you understand that, like, with the Big Bang Theory, we can only trace back, everything into the singularity. At that point, just like inside of a black hole, we can no longer measure what's going on. Information does not go that far. That means
Yes.
that physics itself could be a completely different thing. Like, instead of gravity, it could be called plavity. And,
But these are conjectures.
it's
These aren't for
pushing each other
certain.
away. What
What is for
options
certain is
are
the evidence we
endless.
have at hand at this moment. If anything can come up in the future about what has happened before the Big Bang, then I'm all open to learn. I'm here to simply learn about things. Like, for instance, what I've learned is that necessarily I've been able to logically deduct that there is a God by simply this law. Now, of course, I could go on a whole fantasy like others do by
But
saying,
Viva,
where
the
do we
thing
get
is,
our morals?
The thing
There's
is, you didn't.
logical inconsistencies that come after that, though. Like, you can't just be like, "Oh, well, now I've deducted a God. Okay, so is this God all powerful? Is this God
okay.
able to do how can this God be outside of time? Is he within time? What is time?
Well-
is time A theory? Is it B theory?
My problem is, Viva, is that you haven't even logically deduced it. You just all
I
you
just
all you
did.
had.
You
no,
guys
didn't. This is a complete.
you guys are going over it.
I'm not. It's a complete non sequitur. Like we understand that the first law of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created or destroyed. However, we have entropy, and it's possible that the universe could end in heat death. That seems to contradict the first law of thermodynamics, right? But at
Correct.
all right. I understand all that. That doesn't include God though. That just says that there's a problem. There's something in physics that we do not understand yet. Doesn't mean there's a
Right.
God.
What are the two theories I claimed in the beginning, please? Can you repeat them?
You understand that these laws of thermodynamics can cease to exist once we get beyond the singularity, because we don't know. We don't
Yes,
know.
I understand
we
that.
have no way of measuring that. So it would be foolish.
The claim you're making is similar to the
assume that
multiversal
a
theory
mind-
or like a bubble theory.
It would
It's
be
unknown.
foolish
But-
to assume.
Yeah. Okay, Viva. Let me ask you a question.
What's
How
more
hold on,
foolish
Viva.
is the
Hold on.
fact
Wait.
we're-
Viva. Let me ask you
Okay.
this question. How was the
Yes.
universe gonna end? Is it gonna end in a big crunch bounce back, or is it gonna end in heat death? Which one?
Yeah. Say for sure. 100% for sure. Do you know?
No, I do not know.
Right.
Necessar-
So
That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying. So your entire thing is
But the
is
concept,
right. Hold on.
the
Viva,
simplified
Viva, hold on,
concept of this.
Viva. What you're going off of is that, we have entropy, but we know that entropy happens within a closed system. If you were to say that, the universe is going to end in heat death, which you do not know yet, you're making a claim that you also cannot verify or prove. You're just
Right.
saying
Are
that,
we-
okay, the
It
universe
doesn't
ends in
matter.
heat death. Hold on, wait. You're just saying that the universe ends in heat death, therefore the first law of thermodynamics is wrong. We don't know that because we don't know if the
We're
universe is going to
looking-
end in heat death or not.
Are we in
No.
a closed system? Do you know
The
for
heat-
a fact that the
the heat-
universe is closed?
The heat. Hold up. Let me answer the heat death question quickly. The heat death or a big crunch does not classify whether or not God exists or not. And necessarily, we don't know how the universe will end. All I can tell in the concept of the general realm of this is that the universe's energy will become unusable. Hence, it will eventually have its cycle end. There's not a deterministic way to justify how it would end, how the usable energy would specifically just, I guess, end its cycle. I don't know if it's a big crunch. I don't know, but that does not justify your claim on God not existing. That's a red herring. Necessarily, back onto your point, you
Continue.
said,
Can
is
I-
it a closed system? If it's an
I
open or
just need to
closed
say
system,
something about the
One
YouTube channel
second
real
before you-
quick.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Benny. On the YouTube channel, you have Colin from Mezzo, and I don't know
Oh,
how to fix
shoot.
it. I tried.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. I'm gonna go fix that real quick. Keep going. I'm listening.
oh, okay.
All right, so
Thank you.
go ahead and back up because I got distracted a bit. All right, back up. So your
Okay.
your claim is what, that the universe makes
the
and then
same-
heat death. So that means
No,
entropy could be
forget-
true,
No, it is true.
but is it true about the universe in of itself? We don't know if the universe is going to end in heat death.
It's you just said earlier that you agreed on with me that it would eventually end necessarily in the next few trillion years.
Right. So I'm saying if we give it to you that the universe ends in heat death in a few trillion years, how does that show a God exists? You're just saying that energy ends,
switching-
therefore God.
You're switching up your words. You said entropy last time, and now you're saying heat death. I never talked about heat death or the big crunch. I said only entropy, which is this.
Heat death would be the end of entropy, my friend.
Right.
No, you said big crunch. I view entropy. Well, from what I've read,
You don't know.
entropy
We just
is-
said heat death. Oh my God! All right, so let's keep it straight. Okay. All right. Cool. So your claim is that if the heat death of the universe is correct, if that is correct, then that means that the first law of thermodynamics is probably wrong. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying that what the first law of thermodynamics claims, which is energy can't be created and destroyed, which supports the evidence for an eternal universe, contradicts entropy. Necessarily, there's two sides of this. Necessarily,
But
come
as
back
we,
to the-
it doesn't
You're
contradict entropy
fundamentally
because
not understanding entropy.
I'm practically saying that thermodynamics, what physicists have been able to discover, is what we are talking about right now. Necessarily, we don't know how the universe came to existence because nobody wants to point to God. Necessarily, I made two claims in the beginning when I first started the discussion of the universe was or it wasn't. Necessarily, if it wasn't, that means there was a God. Necessarily, nothing to something, which makes no sense. So, continuing into the eternal universe theory, which is the big rip, necessarily the universe collapsing, exploding again, collapsing, exploding again.
That's one of the ways that could exist. We just told you that the eternal universe could also exist with entropy, where the energy has evened out.
If that was true,
The energy is not destroyed, though.
yeah.
Okay,
It's just
can-
not destroyed.
can you give
Energy
me
is the
evidence?
property of a system.
is there any evidence for an open system that you can
Yeah,
tell me? There's a
the
lot of
Earth.
evidence for closed
There's
systems.
plenty
Yeah,
of
the Earth.
theories.
I'm not talking about the Earth. The Earth is a closed system for a reason. I mean, open system for a reason.
So
You've
I'm
heard
talking about
of
the
things
universe.
like-
Is there any
you've heard of,
evidence for an open
string
system?
theory, M theory. You've heard of the
Yes, I
other
heard
theories,
those.
right?
Yeah,
all right. So
like I said, bubble universe theory.
but these are theories. I'm talking about actual definitive evidence.
you understand how
Like,
theories work in science, correct?
I'm not saying
Yes,
that.
I understand
but I'm
the working theories.
any of them.
I want us to narrow down
So
specifically.
if you
I'm not talking about-
if you know how theories work in science, then you know that what
Christina,
what Benny is talking about is theory
Yeah.
is things that actually have evidence behind it, like models or their math just kind of works out, right?
No, that's a paradox. What you're describing to me is a paradox. For instance, string theory or what was the other one? Loop theory. Those are paradoxes. It can go either way. I'm talking about definitive evidence.
String theory is not a paradox. What are you talking about?
bro,
String theory. Okay.
we're not.
What I mean by paradox.
making the positive claim. You are. You're
I
the
know.
one who has to give the evidence. We're the ones saying we have no freaking clue. You understand?
That's what I'm
that?
telling you. So if you would like me to explain, then we're going to get off this.
No,
But
no,
you've gotten
Viva,
nowhere.
we've been through this several different times. The only thing you kept on saying,
Yes, because I have to keep
was
repeating
that-
myself because I don't understand.
We understand. What we're telling you is that what you're saying is a non sequitur.
explain to me
You're
what
just
I'm talking about.
You're just concluding that a God exists because heat death might be true. That's
Explain to me what I'm
ridiculous.
talking about.
Based
You're
off
talking
of
about-
thermodynamics, you're trying to say that the Kalam causal argument is that an uncreated mind would have to have been existent to create the universe, because the universe cannot just come out of nothing. Now, that doesn't explain anything, because where did that uncreated mind come from?
Okay,
Yeah, and there's,
what is time?
and there's really no reason to believe that's the case anyway. What does outside of space and time even mean?
Right. It's simpler to just assume with what we can observe.
If we were,
and we
if
can
we were in the
observe-
if we were in a second dimension, we would also question whether or not the third dimension. So why can't we question what's something beyond this dimension?
No, we
Not
can
talking
question
about
what's
the fourth
beyond. We can question what's beyond the fourth and the fifth and the sixth dimensions. That's not a problem. But that all
Okay,
takes
good.
up space and time, does it not?
So
Yes, it
are
does.
you
But I'm
saying
saying
this,
now, why
like-
can't we question a dimension that we classified it as a dimension, not necessarily just a dimension?
Like a dimension that doesn't have space and doesn't have time.
yes,
That makes
It
sense.
just
to you?
is and always is.
Why are you like so like sure? Like we just don't know. Like why can't we just say we don't know?
We don't know.
I wish I had a whiteboard.
So like
Necessarily.
the thing is that you are saying that a god, more specifically like a deist vague, could be just the universe. God existed eternally or uncreated, right? And caused the known universe.
Do you know what eternal
Yes.
eternal means? Eternal is literally it's the absence of
uncreated,
time.
right?
It's the absence of time. So, if that is true, if I was arguing for a physical God, I would be immediately wrong. I'm talking about a God that we coined the term because we can't comprehend something out of it's the three concepts of reality: time, space, and matter. That's what makes up our reality necessarily. Simplified. If there's a God that's existing out there, I'm saying if because if I say there is, you guys would disagree with me on that. So I'm trying to lead us. If there is a God that's outside of space and time, that would make absolute sense for the fact that the universe would end. Which what I'm saying is in a long time from now. What I mean by long is trillions of years from now. Necessarily, that would mean that the I guess you can say the claim that energy can't be created or destroyed isn't wrong. I'm just saying that it's led further to say that it's eternal, but what leads it further to say we don't know where our universe came from is entropy. Necessarily saying it's eventually going to
applying
end.
thermodynamics to something that we do not know thermodynamics.
I'm trying to link
applies
this.
to.
I need you to please listen. Full attention, please.
I know. I need you to please listen. Like here, I'm going to mute you for a second. The singularity is the furthest back that we can measure. Information does not go beyond that. That means that the laws of thermodynamics break down. They stop making sense. So thermodynamics is no longer applicable. It could be that thermodynamics exists on the other end. It could be that thermodynamics exists on the other end. We just don't know. Now, you're asserting that we do know and that it's a God. And we're saying we don't know.
Yeah, and I'm also saying is that you haven't made that connection. All you kept on talking about
Right.
was thermodynamics, entropy. It ends one day, therefore God, and the universe is a closed system. We don't even know if the universe is a closed system or not.
We have no idea. We know I will make one like assertion and I'll probably say that yeah, it was not nothing. It was something.
Yeah, it was definitely something. You know what I mean? Because like Benny already said, our concepts of physics and time and matter break down at, T-1. They all
Right.
it completely breaks down. It's a completely different state of energy and matter that our current understanding of physics cannot explain.
Yeah,
So
it could be the same type of physics or it could be a completely different type of physics. We just don't know.
Oh, also want to say this. So anyone who requested up already, you are in the queue. I can't see the queue yet. Benny can see it. But if you requested up, then, just give us a few moments with Viva Vicious. have no idea how to say that. Give us a few more
Vivacious.
minutes and then we'll go ahead and move on.
So yeah, vivacious. I mean, do you have anything else? Like, you're just saying God. You're just filling a gap in with God. We're just saying we don't know, and you're just saying God. You have no evidence for this. All right, so I'm not hearing a response, so we're gonna move on.
All right, guys. Yeah, that was an ordeal. That was an
I'm
ordeal.
just gonna go from the bottom here. Oh, that person left. Let's see here. This person, Logan.
All right, Logan.
Hey, Logan, can we get your age real quick for TikTok purposes?
26.
All right. And then, are you a Christian or do you believe in the?
I don't necessarily believe in anything, but I do have some questions.
Sure.
Sure.
So I see you have the Haiti flag in your profile name.
Yep.
So I know for a fact that in my life I've seen some things that anytime I ever see something, I guess paranormal or whatever, I always try to disclose it off as something else. And I've definitely seen some things that I'm like, all right, what the hell was that? Well, I've been doing a lot of research over this past couple weeks, and I know I won't say 100% fact because I've never been there, but all the research that I've done has led back that voodoo in Haiti is 100% real and nothing to play with. So how would you define voodoo as real or not real? How would you know?
Yeah, I'll take this. Voodoo isn't real, bro. Voodoo isn't real, and here's how I.
Oh, I don't know, dude. You just got muted. I just want to make sure we're not like bordering any kind of like, type of like racism or like any kind of generalization. Not all like Haitians are, like believers of voodoo and like,
no, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, now, luckily for you, my grandmother was a Haitian voodoo practitioner. All right. So she actually did practice. And I do have family members that still practice, and I still talk to people who actually practice. The way I take voodoo is more of a metaphorical spiritual thing, like the way that we'll take Taoism or Confucianism, more of a way of life, because that's what it was in Africa. But as far as do Urzuli and all those people have actual powers, no. Because you know why I would say that? It's because I'm still here. There was a voodoo priest who was an enemy of my dad's church that said that he's going to transform our entire family into cats, right? He's going to go ahead and put a curse on a certain leaf, throw it in front of our house, and the next day we'll be cats. That was back in 2011.
That's
not
crazy.
A cat, am I?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not a cat, am I? So yeah, here's one last thing that I would say. Haiti was enslaved by France, right? If voodoo was real, do you really think France would be as successful as it is right now?
Well, no, but I was told that.
Yeah.
I've definitely done the research on that part too, and other people were like, "Well, don't you think that those people would have higher powerful people than what the actual Haitians are? Like, apparently it's levels to it or whatever."
Okay, so like the Christian God is more powerful than the Haitian gods, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I'm asking you that question. What is that what they're trying to claim?
No. I think they're just claiming like if you have a Haitian voodoo practitioner, that it is like there can be one that is a higher level than the other one. Like, so I was reading this story on this teenager that was being disrespectful to the elderly lady in Haiti, and she's like, all right, you got 3 days. And after 3 days, she died, and then her uncle was a higher practitioner of voodoo than what the lady who killed the teenager was, and brought her back to life after 2 months of being dead.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. Nobody has been brought back to life.
Yeah, exactly. We hear these stories all the time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because I've followed people that are from Haiti that are like, yeah, this is 100% real. Like, don't mess with it.
It's not real. I mean, here's the thing. Anybody can use any type of practice to do horrible, violent things, right? The reason why why voodoo has such a bad reputation is because, number one, there are people who use it to do like harmful things, right? Because the way that African traditional religion works is not the way that the Abrahamic religions work, right? Like if you go to a certain spirit and you say, hey, I have an enemy, I want him poisoned, then that spirit will say, okay, I need this, that, and the third, and I'll poison him. You see what I'm saying? So, if you say, hey, I really like this guy, Benny, I want him to succeed in life, I can go to a spirit and say, I want Benny to get $1 million, you know, in the next 5 years. That spirit will say, okay, give me this, that, and a third, and Benny will get $1 million in the next 3 years. That's how it works in African traditional religion, and you venerate your ancestors, et cetera, et cetera. It's not like the traditional Abrahamic religions that we know about, right? So that's why it gets a bad rep, because there are people who have used it to do harm. The second reason it has a bad rep is because of, well, colonialism, racism, slavery. Right. That's why it has a bad rep. You know what I mean? The Europeans didn't understand what they were watching, and they just deemed it evil. You see what I'm saying? But like, other than that, Haiti is I mean, I said Haiti. I'm sorry, y'all. Voodoo is no different than Taoism or Jainism or Confucianism or any other paganism is no different than any of those. You feel me? Like we always view things like Harry Potter as light and cute, or, you know, Percy Jackson and the Olympians as, you know, great stories to tell your kids. But the moment it comes to an African religion, all of a sudden it's, oh my God, so bad and evil, you know?
Yeah. But that's all I had. I really appreciate the explanation, guys.
All right.
Not a problem, Logan. I appreciate you.
Have a good one. Yeah.
All right, guys. We appreciate you all being here. Go ahead and tap that screen, tap them likes. If you would like to discuss with us, go ahead and come on up. Just make sure that you are over 18. All right. 5L. I guess I'll just call you that.
Was it 8, bro? I'm gonna call you 8.
8.
What's up?
All right. So 8. Are you over?
Atheist or?
I am an atheist.
I'm 18.
Oh, you're atheist?
Okay, there's really no reason for me to be here. I thought y'all.
All
were
right.
Christian.
Well, hey, man, enjoy the show. You're good. You're good. Hey, you might want to change
sure,
that
man.
battery
Sure.
in your smoke detector, though.
Of course.
All right. Appreciate you being up here, 8.
Just saying. It's just.
All right.
It's without fail.
It's without fail. Yeah. It's always the light battery.
It's a struggle, though. I get it. Like.
You be feeling like changing it, bro. You don't be feeling it.
Sometimes it's like way too high up, and you're like, forget it. I don't even care.
Yeah, exactly. All right, hey Cartier, you were in the comments. We did see things that you said about Jesus or whatever. So, are you over 18, and do you believe in some sort of God?
Yes, sure, both.
Alrighty. What would be your best evidence that there is a God that exists and Jesus is his son and savior of the world?
Okay. One, I would say it would God, like the existence of a God or the possible existence of a God will constitute an argument in Axiom 5, right? He's a possible, all good, all knowing, omniscient, powerful necessity for the world. So possibility, if there's a possibility of his necessity, it would stand that
I don't think there is a possibility. Like there's all, if it's all powerful, all knowing, now we have like
all good.
Yeah,
all good.
We have the problem of evil, the hard problem
of free will.
Mm-hmm. We have free will that we got to figure out. We have a lot of paradoxes that come up when you start bringing in those omni.
I like the free will. I like the free will one. Can you guys tell me your stance on free will?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to like the like hard free will, most people will say that free will doesn't exist, because if we define free will as being able to act without outside influence, there's always going to be an outside influence. So pure free will doesn't exist, but that's not what people really mean by that, right? They just mean you're able to act without some sort of force making you do the action, right? That's what people typically mean. When that's the case, I do believe that we have that type of free will, correct? Now, if the God that you're saying exists is the one that's all-knowing, if that one does exist, then free will can't exist, because everything that we do, he already knows. We have to do what he knows.
I like that. Me knowing doesn't mean I order it to happen, because if I see a guy speeding 75 miles into a brick wall, I know he gonna get hurt. He gonna crash into that wall. But I didn't tell him to go do it. I know he's gonna get right.
All right, let's go with your example. You didn't tell him to go crash into our wall, and you know he's gonna hurt himself, right?
I could tell you.
Is there possible? Is there a possible?
You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Is there a possibility that is there a possibility that he'll survive?
Yes.
All right. So, but do you know what? Hold on, wait, Cardia. Hold on, Cardia. Slow down. Do you know which one is gonna happen?
I know he's gonna crash into a wall.
You know he's gonna crash into a wall, and it's a possibility that he'll get hurt. It's a possibility that he'll unalive. Do you? There's a possibility that he'll be just fine. As a matter of fact, miraculously. Do you know for sure? Hold on, wait. Do you know for sure which one is gonna happen?
Do I know for sure? I know for sure he's gonna get into an accident.
Right, but which the outcome of that accident? Which one is gonna happen? Do you know for sure?
Your knowledge kind of stops at that, like, kind of divergence.
It stops at that. Man,
it stops at that, exactly. So, hold on. So, Cartier, does God know which one is going to happen? The outcome. Does he know the outcome?
He knows the outcome, but he doesn't force the outcome.
I'm not saying does he force it, but does he? Hold on, wait. Slow down.
Yeah.
Cartier, slow down. He knows the outcome. Okay.
Yes.
Can God be wrong?
Can God be wrong? No, he could be sad about it. Cause I actually had that question to myself.
Hold on, Cartier. Hold on. So, God not only knows what's going to happen, he also knows the outcome, and he cannot be wrong. So that means that, hold on. That means that everything that I do, every outcome that I have, God pre-knew it already. It doesn't mean that he's forcing me to do anything, but I have to do what God knows. Otherwise, he's wrong. And you just told me God cannot be wrong.
He knows what you're going to do. You're not.
He knows. Right. He knows. Hold on. He knows what I'm going to do, and he knows the outcome of what I'm going to do. So me being atheist right now was not my choice. He always knew I was going to be that. He already knew, exactly,
that, right?
And he can't fail to be wrong. So, if it's true that we're people who don't believe are destined for HE double hockey sticks to be tortured forever, then I didn't choose to go there either. That was all I got.
Not necessarily torture. You see, that's what a lot of people say hell is, right? Fire. I mean, there's lake of fire and there's brimstone. But hell is also described as being separated from God, right? Separation, right?
Well,
so
in the New Testament, I subscribe that hell is a furnace.
A furnace, right?
There's wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Because you're away from good, right? God is all good, right? He's all good, right? He's all cute.
I mean,
right?
I don't know about
that. Away from that, that's what they say, right?
That's where you're starting to kind of assume things, I guess. That's where you're taking.
God is good, right? God was all good. And obviously, if you're away from good, the opposite of good would be negative. That would just be a universal law.
So we're jumping a little bit here.
Negative.
What I'd like to do is, have you ever read like the Book of Romans?
I did that. I just started actually reading the Book of Romans. I did.
So in Romans,
about a lot of inward, outward, spiritual aspects.
Okay, inward. Yeah. So in the Book of Romans, chapter 9, they actually pretty verbosely go over the fact that free will does not exist, and I think it's chapter 9:16. Give me a second here. I actually gotta open up to it. Romans. Let's see, chapter 9. So
I appreciate you for bringing out the context. Thank you.
Yeah. So in Romans, actually 8 also, but in 9. Let's see. Let's get to the beginning of it. So, Romans, I'll start at 9:10. Nor does something similar happen to Rebecca, even before they had been born, had done any good or bad, so that God's purpose of election might continue. 12. Not by works, but by his call, God's call.
Yes.
She was told, the elder serve the younger, as is written. God said, I have loved Jacob, but I have hated Esau. Now, what that means is that before Esau ever did anything, he already knew that he hated him and that Esau was going to be the object of his hate. But he loved Jacob. He loved Israel. So God already made the decision, right? So, and then we continue on, 14. Then what are we to say? Is there injustice on God's part? By no means.
It's like watching a movie. I would say it's like watching a movie before you know it. Or like watching a movie with someone else. If I watch a movie and I see the character, I already saw the movie, right? Like I directed the movie, I wrote the script. I don't like that character, right? I saw the movie, but because I do believe in free will, I do believe that I have the
option to do something bad. Do you believe that Romans is correct?
Yeah, I would have to say so.
So further on, as we keep going on, they describe God as like the potter, and that we are the clay, and that God formed us, and that God has decisions for us. Some of them are for his wrath, some of them are not. So free will doesn't seem to exist in the Bible either, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Pretty much.
I mean, he says the plans for his wrath, but he knew. It's basically like saying, I know what this guy. I know this dude's gonna go do this. I know, but it's gonna be part of my plan. Like I already see it happening, and I know he's gonna. Let's say I know this dude's gonna go get hella drunk, grab his keys, go
There's
drive,
it's
get into an
written, it's
accident.
written down
It's like,
though. Like
All right, so Cartier, that means Cartier, if God has a plan and he knows how that plan is going to turn out, and he knows what we're going to do, and he knows the outcome, and he knows every single step, we cannot have free will. It's all about his plan. Everything we do is in accordance with his plan.
free will doesn't exist in the Bible either. So
That's what we believe in.
We don't
Not
believe in free
everybody
will
believes
outside of the Bible. We don't. The Bible doesn't believe in free will. God is the ultimate will. It's up to God's will.
He's the alternate arbiter. Like everything that happens is because of him. So
Because he knows it'll happen. Yes. So
Right.
He knows you're gonna go
So
do a
we
bad
don't
decision.
have
He
free-
didn't go
so-
tell you, hey man, go do this bad decision.
So we
he
don't
knows
have-
this kid's gonna do something bad.
Cartier,
And he
so
didn't
we don't.
force it.
So we don't have free will then.
No, we do.
How can we have free will if he already knows every single move we're gonna make? Me raising my hand like this, God knew I was gonna do that a billion years before I actually did it. So I didn't choose that.
He's gonna know you decided to do that. He didn't write it. Oh, he's
But
gonna
when
do
did-
it 'cause I say he's gonna do it. He's
All
gonna
right,
do
so
it
if
because
he-
I know he's gonna do it.
If he knows beforehand, yeah, if he knows
He knows you're gonna
beforehand,
do something.
okay,
He's gonna
okay,
know
if
you
he
choose something.
if he knows I'm gonna beforehand what I choose, what I do, the actions I take tomorrow, 50 years from now, whether I wear a blue hat tomorrow, if he knows all the decisions I'm going to make, where is my decision making coming in this? It doesn't, because he already knows I'm going to do it, and he cannot be wrong.
So he gave you the choice to hear
There is no
God.
choice. I'm gonna do it because he can't be wrong. If he gave me a
chose not to
choice,
accept
if he
the
gave me
gospel,
if he gave me a choice, then that would mean that God would not know what I'm going to do. If
Did
I give Vinny a choice,
Did Esau have a choice? Did Jacob have a choice to be loved? Did Esau have a choice to be hated? No, God made
their
the
life,
choice.
they made the decision. It's the thing we blame God for everything, but we don't hold accountability.
in
the
your
Bible literally, the Bible literally
in your
says
book.
God made that decision.
God made the
Hate
decision.
someone?
9:16.
Did he tell Esau to do the things he did? Did he choose Esau to go the path he did?
He said
No, he just knew he was gonna do it.
he just hated Esau. He
just
wanted
hated
somebody
Esau.
for his wrath.
Right. So he just chose Esau to be the one that he hated. That sounds pretty sadistic.
That sounds sadistic, but let's say in the Bible where the Hebrews go annihilate the oh my God,
The Amalekites.
The Midianites?
right? Yeah. The Midianites.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That was
sick, right? He said, "Don't leave no man, woman, child, no animal, none of that."
yeah,
right?
that's pretty sick.
But later on, they still
Amalekites.
pop out in the Bible. It's using a hyperbole. It's like saying, "Okay, I hope the Giants destroy the what Green Bay Packers tomorrow." Like,
Oh, okay. So
you can use it in that context.
all right. So let me get this straight. When God ordered the Hebrews to commit a genocide on the Amalekites, he was just being hyperbolic. He didn't actually go tell them to do that.
Because
So
when
why
the
did Samuel?
Amalekites after-
So why did Samuel get upset at King Saul when he failed to do that?
That's a good one. You know what's crazy? I was actually reading First and Second Samuel's out last night. That's literally crazy that you mentioned First Samuel. So I just started reading upon Samuel literally last night. I am so serious. That's gonna make me read more into it, right? To give good answers and to know more. I like that. So
Yeah.
when
Okay.
it
So
came to
ordering
Amalekites-
genocide is pretty sick. You don't think so?
But
What the
if
children
you go
do?
if you go into chapters later, what happens? They're still there.
So
That-
let's
that- those
Which
people-
means that there's a
Free
contradiction
will.
in the Bible.
No, that means it's a hyperbolic statement.
No, it just means
It's
it's
not
a
a
contradiction.
Does it really mean that? Because if I just
Yeah,
say, I
because
said,
he
"Yo, I
told
hope
them
the-
to-
I hope the
Yes,
Green
Saul
Bay
Because-
literally gets in
destroy all
trouble
of
for not unaliving some of them.
Yeah, he gets in trouble for it, and then Samuel actually does it himself. So, yeah, the king of the
Samuel
Amalekites is taken away.
Yeah, so he met
And
all of
Are the
them.
people still there though?
It's a story.
Yeah, it's a story. So
It's a story, okay. So the people didn't all get destroyed. God told them to go destroy all men, women, children, all of that, right?
I mean, according to the story, no. I mean, like they kept a few alive. Saul did,
Yeah.
but then
yeah,
then they unalived them. They were gone. They're gone.
And were those people still there in the Bible?
Were there people still there after the flood?
Yes.
See, now that's a contradiction.
That's a
There was
contradiction.
people that lived through the. I mean, other than the ark.
No, yeah, and where the other? You see, that's a good one that I would like to read on. That's a good one about. That's a good one right there.
I mean, you can assume because they talk about Goliath that the Nephilim did survive the flood.
Yeah,
but
they did say that.
But no, they said that every baby, every living, crawling thing, everything unalived with the flood too.
All right, so Cartier, let's go ahead and go back to this. How does this show that a God exists just because the Bible has a few stories?
I would say not just archaeological evidence, but just not so long ago, a lot of tribes that the Bible mentioned, a lot of people would say, "Oh no, that's not real. That's just a fairy tale. Those people never historically existed," etc. Right? For example, the Philistines. Until they found a Philistine city, like what, maybe 15 years ago. I was a kid when them archaeologists dug all of that up.
We know the Philistines existed.
Not up until like I was a kid when I.
No, we knew
like
Philistines. Like trust me, I heard that same thing when I was a kid, and I think I'm older than you. They all knew the Philistines existed. They knew the Philistines existed for a while. The one that they doubted existed was the Moabites, and the Moabites was found. Yeah, because the Moabites, and not only that, the Moabites were cross-referenced with other archaeological things, not just the Bible. The Bible said that the Moabites existed, and we didn't have any evidence for it yet until we actually went to the site and started digging. And then we saw that the other major powers in the area, like the Egyptians and the Assyrians, they also named the Moabites as well. So it wasn't just the Bible. Yeah, the Bible showed them where to go, which is yeah, you can do that, right? Because the Bible actually does mention real people.
Real places.
It does mention real places, real people, but so does Harry Potter.
You could say that. I like that because that's a good way of looking at it too. But what I also think is let's say Genesis, right? Because I didn't grow up Christian, right? I didn't grow up believing. I actually came from not believing in nothing to looking into everything until I found Christianity. So my first thing when I was really into science.
Stop there. I just have a question for you.
What's up?
So like you just admitted that you've not read the whole book, but you just
because
before getting all the information, you're all in.
No, now let me tell you why, right? Because I'm gonna talk about belief, right? But before I talk about belief, I was a really science-based person, right? I believed in like science, right? Everything, there was universal laws, natural laws, all of that, right?
So you know that Genesis is wrong.
Evolution. So check out Genesis though, because you got to look at it with.
And it's wrong.
You gotta, check this out though. It said God made the heavens, right? The heavens of the water, the heavens of the earth. I mean, the waters of the earth and the waters of heavens, right? He separated the waters, right? What I really like about that is that that's such an old book, an antiquity book, right? 2,000 years ago, older than that, right? I like how it describes heaven as the waters, because if you look at NASA right now, before they go into space travel, they go to Houston and test inside giant pools before they go into space, because the space is almost like water. Like you're floating, you need a special suit.
Yeah, you're
weightless. All of this. I really like how it describes that, because in my head it's like, okay, if this is super old, it means like the guy who made the heavens probably knew to describe it to 2,000 years ago people like water. I wouldn't be able to say, there's no gravity.
Cartier, listen.
Pause, yeah.
The reason why those ancient people describe heaven as the waters is because where does rain come from?
From the heavens.
Yeah, it comes from the sky.
God separated the waters.
Wait, Cartier, hold on. Cartier, listen. They describe the heavens as the waters because that's where rain comes from, right? So this is mean that it was just written by people who had no idea what they were talking about. They didn't know what the water cycle was. They didn't know that water evaporates, it forms into clouds, and it drops down to the ground. They didn't know that. So they just thought that the sky is where heaven was, and the gods must be up there. Because they didn't have our technology. They didn't have balloons weren't created until thousands of years afterwards. So none of them could go to the sky. None of them had telescopes. They didn't know how any of this worked. So the Bible describing the sky as the waters is just really people not knowing.
Like the heavens, because if they believe that God was in the sky where clouds are,
they believe exactly. They believe that the heavens was in the sky, but we know that the sky is just atmosphere. There's no heavens up there. There's nothing there.
Right.
Yeah,
Also, there's older religions than there's older books that
Yes.
describe like the primordial like waters.
Yes.
Like Tiamat was part of this like primordial kind of pantheon of gods, like the Greek kind of titans. So those stories, like if you read the story of like Gilgamesh,
Yeah, the Epic of
an
Gilgamesh.
older story, and they describe a very similar, like story with snakes and people and trees and fruit and
So
floods.
similar, right? That means there had to be a common understanding of like this came from here. That's what I think. If there's a consensus, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to say there's a consensus agreement that something exists. It has to exist, right? But
Or it could be a very early civilization trying to reason out what like everything came from, right? Or they're just trying to make sense of the world around them.
Yeah, and like Cartier, like for you said that you were really into science, and then you looked into Genesis. That would mean that you know that everything Genesis says is wrong about our universe, wouldn't you?
Right. Is the Earth 6,000 years old? Is it covered in a firmament? And is it flat, like with a dome on top?
Yeah, did the Earth come before the sun?
Oh.
What happened? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Just kind of dropped out really quick. All right, guys.
Got blown. It's mine got
okay.
blown.
Yeah, mine got blown. Mine got blown. All right, guys, keep liking. Fam just dropped.
Let me see here. How's everything looking on YouTube and everything? I think we're dual casting. So we got a little bit going on the Deconstruction Junction YouTube. I think Joyful's got it going on his channel. He's doing it. I'm doing it. All right. So yeah, make sure that you're all checking out JA Debates. That's Joyful Apostate. That's our good friend Joyful. We're hosting the show for him this week, this Monday, because he is not able to host, and he asked us to, and we said, "Of course, buddy, we love you," because that's what a community does for each other, huh? So yeah, me and Volcy here, and it's been a bit since we've talked, so it's actually a good time. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah, this is great. Like I love this. I've been needing to get back to doing debates, doing discussions, because it's been a while, and I love this. I love doing these.
Yeah,
so
same.
I definitely appreciate Joyful letting me host today, and this is great. This is wonderful, and of course, if you disagree with what we have on the board, guys, let me see if I can come up with my background yet. Nope. Still not let me do it. Whatever. All right, guys. So if you disagree with what we have on the board, go ahead and come on up, and we appreciate. Go ahead, keep liking it live. We love all our supporters, everyone on the JA Deconstruction Zone YouTube. We love you, and I appreciate y'all. I also have a YouTube channel. You can follow me at Volcy Thoughts. Ben, you have a YouTube channel as well, right?
Well, the Deconstruction Junction channel's just all I go by. I mean, I do have like a YouTube account, but I don't have any subscribers or nothing on that. I don't try to promote that one. But yeah, check out Volcy. We want people to check out Volcy because he's going live on YouTube. And honestly, I want more people to be like on YouTube, to be completely honest, because I'm kind of over the TT app, if you ask me, just because, well, I'm also on Joyful's account because my main got in trouble.
Yeah. My main account is always getting in trouble. My main account is always getting in trouble. Let's see. Someone said they didn't see the button. Coach Vic, do you not see the request button? If you don't see it, we'll go ahead and bring you up.
There's a little like pink and blue like human, and it says guest. It should be like down that way towards the right of the chat. Otherwise, my parents are going to be coming here soon, so we might have to wrap up shortly. As far as I'm going, I don't know if Joyful's going to be free or not, but either way, we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried about it.
Gotcha. Can you make a request for Coach Vic to come up since he doesn't see the button?
Let me see. Why can't I, Coach? Invite. I sent an invite for you.
There we go.
There we are. Hey, Coach, can we get your age real quick?
Yeah, 45.
That's amazing form. You got a really good form with that right there, that golf swing.
Yeah, I got a couple errors in there, though, I got to fix.
You're probably way better than I am.
Yeah. Ain't that funny, though, right? How you can see that it looks like,
Yeah,
looks perfect, right?
I did take some lessons. You got to keep your elbows straight. You got to make sure your weight's balanced right. So Coach, what brings you up today?
Yeah, I've been scrolling on TikTok for about a couple of months now. I'm just interested when I come across certain, forums that ask the question, right? Does God exist, right? What's evidence? And trying to make that connection, right? And I'm Christian, you know what I mean? So I get it from a scientific perspective. The one that's probably looking for empirical evidence than just making connections, right? But I don't know. I just wanted to have a discussion, right? I think I see things in the Word that offers evidence if a person is willing to accept it.
Okay. Which Bible verse? Here's the thing. When it comes to holy books,
Yep.
we take those as claims, not evidence, because the Bhagavad Gita says that Brahma created the earth on top of a giant turtle. Are you going to accept that claim?
Create earth on top of a turtle.
Yeah, Brahma. Like in Hinduism, it says that the creator Brahma is the one that created the earth on top of a giant turtle. Are you going to believe that claim just because it's in the holy book?
No, I wouldn't say I would necessarily believe that claim, right? If I'm going to use the Bible as a source, which I do, then I'm looking at from beginning to end on it making sense.
Right. So the thing is, from the beginning of the Bible, it makes false claims. Like for example, when it says, Genesis 1 verse 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. We know that the earth was not the beginning of this universe, right?
No, we would, my viewpoint, right? I would say God existed before all.
Okay, cool. How do we show that to be true?
So this is where I point to scriptures. You pointed to Genesis 1:1, which that scripture alone, shows me that, right, God is outside of matter. Okay.
Great. How do we show that to be true now?
Say again.
How do we show that to be true?
Because now I think it's looking at it holistically when you look at time, space, and matter, right? So when you're looking at the attributes of God, to say is there evidence of God, right, that exists outside of these three principles? I think you got to look at it collectively, not just one, right? In matter, I think you got to look at the other two as well. So there's other scriptures as you bring together.
Right. That sounds all nice and pretty, but the question the question still remains is, how do we show that to be true? Because we can, I can claim that, that I existed before outside of time, space, and matter, and this is just an avatar of me existing. Are you just going to believe that just because I said so?
Right.
No, I think you would. I think your whole presence would have to show time within time, space, and matter that it's you, right? You can't.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah, no, I can do that. My presence does show that, and it shows that because I do that off being bald, and because I'm bald, that means I exist outside of time, space, and matter. You see how that works?
No.
It works the same way that you're using the Bible. The Bible says something, therefore you think that is true.
So there's okay. So here's my understanding. Like looking across all the religions, at least the ones that I've studied, and looking at the world for what it is. There's some bold claims that you would see in the Bible, correct? There's
Yes.
some very bold claims, right? And so when God makes a bold statement of such with Genesis 1:1, Psalms 90 verse 2, those are some pretty substantial claims, right? I don't think no human, I mean, being real, right? No human gonna make the claim that you created the heavens and the mountain. I ain't seen one person, logically human, right, make those bold of a claim.
Right. I mean, if we take the Bible as written by humans, then yeah, humans, they make the claim. But yeah, there's always something in some religion's figure that's going to claim that they created the universe, right? In ancient Greek religion, it was the primordials, and Hinduism is Brahma, and Voodoo is Oldumare. There's always going to be someone who claims that they created the universe. That the thing is, just because someone wrote it in a book, how do we know that's actually true? Just because they made a claim doesn't, like, they can make a claim, they can make a bold claim, that doesn't mean the claim true.
So I would say, right, and this is just my research, right, with history. And so when I go back through history to the beginning of time, right, you go back to 3,500 or 4,000 BCE, whatever the case. And I'm saying where it's more truth than not, right? I know it might not be exact, based on how science looks at things through repeatability and all of that good stuff. But if you go all the way back to the beginning of time, the very first civilization, right, was polytheistic. You follow civilization all the way up until 2025. All, at least the early civilization, believed in something, right? So yeah, we might say that, oh, well, yeah, Vic, that might not be true, but the truth is that all the early civilizations in history believed in some type of God. Well, so in my mind, logically, there has to be some truth to it. The question is, which one is true?
But I would push back on that a little bit and say that science has actually kind of disproved like a lot of these religious claims of like how things came to be. Like, for instance, people thought that lightning was like a literal man, above the clouds, like throwing lightning down onto the earth. We later found out that that's actually charged particles in the sky, and then releasing and arcing down to the earth. So
I agree with that on some things, right? But you can't get past
more that science, as we learn and discover more, that a lot of these truth claims that were once, held up like as like the answer are turning out not so much so. And they might be kind of right, like I do say like a broken clock is correct, 2 times
Twice
a day. Yeah, but now whether or not it's like the actual 100% answer, I could say for sure, without a doubt, that the Old Testament and the New Testament are wrong.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, let's let me break it down this way as well, Coach. Yeah. There has never been a time, for anything that we discover about our Earth, about our solar system, about our galaxy, about our universe, nothing has ever had a supernatural explanation. Anytime humans did not understand something, whether that be earthquakes, rain, the sun, the way our galaxy spins, why stars are the way they are, why they shine bright the way that they do, every single time humans thought that it was a supernatural explanation, turned out to be wrong. Every single time. There's like a 1,000,000 track record for naturalism, right? The answer has never been supernatural. Never. There's never been a supernatural explanation for nothing that we discovered. It has never happened once.
It's not that we like it that way,
Yeah, exactly. I would love for magic to exist, right? So, but so like the point that I'm trying to say is, let me get this out. The point I'm trying to make is that if nothing that we've ever discovered ever had a supernatural explanation, why would the universe itself need a supernatural explanation? Why can't it just be something natural that we don't yet understand, like everything else was?
I think because it's 2025, right?
What about it?
for example, if you got your Bible, man, if you get, Job 38, I think it's Job 38, 4 and 5. It's the way things is written, right? It ain't just the fact that it's the Bible, right? It's the way things are written that we continually ask these questions, right? Let me know if you got that verse. I think it says something.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the Bible may have some verses that kind of allude to things that are going on right now, right? Like I understand that that type of framing, but my problem with that framing is that can happen for anything. There are Muslims who say the exact same thing, that the Quran predicts all of this as well, but you're not Muslim.
I don't think it says that.
Yeah, there are some, like, because we speak to Muslims a lot, right? There are plenty of Muslims who would come up here, open up the Quran, and say, "Look at this surah that explains everything that's going on today." They do the same exact thing that you're doing.
Right.
Okay. Well, when I might have to go back and study right in totality, but I don't get that when I look at their religion in totality based on what they say. There's things that don't even come close to how it's stated or discussed in the Bible.
I mean, everything that's discussed and stated in the Bible and the Quran and the Bhagavad Gita, all of them, My
point was, though, just from the scriptures, I'm saying, from the scientific perspective, you see the questions that we always conclude is the rationale. Can it be a God, right? When you talk about space, time, and matter. And we see, based on the scriptures, that God actually demonstrates through the word that he's outside of matter. Job 38, 4 and 5 tells you about his precision, which no one in science has an answer to.
That's a fallacy, though. So, like, precision and like complexity is have you ever? It's called the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. So what that means is, like, the whole story is the guy pews the side of a barn, in Texas, and he goes up and draws the bullseye around each bullet hole and says, "Oh, like, look at me. I just made all of the correct, precise shots. Everything is so precise. I'm perfect." But it's taking the, like, result and making it the cause. So, like, you're kind of like flipping it. You're putting the cart before the horse. And that is just what they would call a logical fallacy, like in like logics and debate. So when you're like, just because we have precise, like constants, like the Planck constant or the speed of light, that doesn't mean that there couldn't be a alternate universe that had a different speed of light or a different constant, or that a universe could exist with other constants. We just don't. That's another thing. We just don't know.
We just don't know yet. The thing is, like, I understand that, when, like, you're because you brought up a biblical verse, right? Like, I get, this is what the Bible says. We all understand that this is what the Bible says. What we're going off of is that you cannot simply assume that what the Bible is saying is true just because it says something that seems to allude to reality, right? Because, like, there are also verses in the Bible where it says that the earth is shaped like a circle, which seems to read to me that they're saying that the earth is flat, but a sphere is technically a circle, right? So it's like when you have vague things like that, you can't really say that this is what the truth is because of this vague language. Otherwise, you might as well believe in horoscopes. I mean, no, those are crap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree on some aspects, right? And I get it. Science is not trying to prove or disprove, right? It's us in our head of trying to think, right? Is there a God? And for me, making a strong correlation, right, between the Creator to what we see happening.
You there, Coach?
You muted out. You might have got a call.
Yeah, I think you got a call because you muted.
My bad. I got a phone call that came in. Can you still hear me? I don't know.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, my bad. Did you catch that last statement? I'm not sure.
No, I didn't hear that. Say it again.
Yeah, no, I was saying, oh God, so I was saying, like when we talk about the universe, right? You mentioned the speed of light, and things of that nature, right? That these things that we see are very, very precise. Like we would agree that, I mean, that's not by chance.
No.
Right?
So I'm saying that we notice it because it's already happened. There's 100% chance that it happened because it did happen, right? So it's kind of silly for us to like assume a purpose behind like things like a precise constant, for instance. That would be, like I said, like the sharpshooter fallacy. Just because somebody pew-pewed the side of a barn does not mean that they hit all those bullseyes, even though they went ahead and painted the bullseyes around them. So that's what you're doing, is you're painting the bullseye around the bullet hole. So to like say like, oh, since we have precise measurements, there's a purpose, that there's a maker, that doesn't logically entail to each other.
Yeah,
it's a non sequitur.
So you're taking two pieces, right? You going with what was, and I get it, what was written over 2,000 years ago, right? That supposedly during a time period when everybody was, I don't want to say dumb, but right, what's the word I'm looking for?
No, they were dumb.
They were ignorant. Yeah.
Compared to us now, I mean, like they didn't have iPhones.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they were ignorant.
2,000 years ago, for this to be written in such a manner to account for the things that we are uncovering, right, up until 2025, that was written over 3,000 years ago.
But they didn't, a lot of the prophecies, a lot of things that they say are going to happen, didn't come to happen.
Well, not prophecies. I'm just strictly on the creation, right? On the part of God saying, I am the creator, right? These things, like what's in the word, aligns to somewhat what's occurring.
All right, like what though? Like what?
So like Job 38:4-5, when he says, I think I know that from memory, where he says, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth, right? I think it's a question mark. If you have understanding, question mark.
All right, but Coach, that doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah, but you have it's listening to the questions, right?
What about the question? That doesn't tell us anything.
Like God asking you, who determined its measurements? Surely you know, right?
What does that mean? That doesn't tell us anything, bro.
He's describing like cornerstones of the earth, and
and the earth doesn't even have cornerstones. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's a figurative, like, we could say things like have you ever heard of Devil's Tower out in like Wyoming? Heard of it,
but I don't know that much about it.
Well, so the Inuit, or the indigenous people of like the Dakotas and Wyoming, have an old story that said that a bear clawed at the side of Devil's Tower, and that it was actually a big tree, and like something was up there, and the bear was trying to like get at it and climb it, and he clawed it. They just saw what looked like claw marks, right? And then they came up with this story to kind of explain that. That's all I would say that the Bible is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were looking at things that they didn't understand, and they came up with stories to understand it. That's basically what it is. And that verse in Job, like I said before, what does that tell us? It's just a character saying, "Oh, you don't know everything." So,
yeah, exactly right. So the fact, but again, it's about when this was written, right? It's the fact that the events that are described, right, at 2,000, 3,000 years ago, was at a point, was at an intellectual ability that we comprehend today in 2025 for what we see in science, right? When we talk about the moon, stars, the distance, the number of the stars.
All right,
how many stars there are in the universe?
Does that verse in Job tell us the exact distance from the Earth to the moon? Does it tell us that?
No, he doesn't. Right? Those were open-ended
Right.
questions.
Okay. Great. So does the Book of Job have any like reference to like the planet Neptune, and when can we see it on a certain day in the sky?
No, that's not what you're gonna see in Job.
So it doesn't tell us anything, bro. That's what I mean by that. When you say that this verse is telling us things that happen later, it really isn't, because the discovery of Neptune is like it basically laid a cornerstone in what astronomy was going to be for the future, right? Because we were able to do some math and predict exactly where it was going to be. You know what I mean? The Earth, the distance from Earth to the moon is one of the cornerstones of NASA, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how we were able to understand that, you know what I mean? If anything in the Bible were to say that, you know, these are the precise measurements that, you know, it's going to take Mercury, the planet Mercury, 88 days for it to be in this spot, and then you can look through a tube and see it at that spot and this time of day, then that will tell us something. But saying, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? I don't fucking know. That doesn't tell us anything, you know?
Well, I was just saying that in that context of Job and those having that conversation with God, right? His response with those questions 3,000 years ago, right? And the fact that we still can't answer that.
We can't answer what?
Who has measured, right? Like Isaiah 40:12. Who has measured the water of heaven and earth? No one can measure that.
No one can measure what?
But water. No,
we can measure water. We know approximately how much water we have on Earth.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying depth, right? I know we can, get down to a depth, but even scientists that's going to depth to tell you that, look, we're still reaching areas where there's even more greater depth that we can't explore because of the pressure of the water, right?
Right, but just because the Bible says, did you measure the depth or how much the waters? Again, that doesn't tell us anything. That's just a character. That's just a character asking rhetorical questions that no one can answer.
It's taking advantage of the whole God of the gaps thing, right? It's just saying like there's stuff out there that we don't know, so it must be this God that I'm telling you about. Which, I mean, in my opinion, that just sounds like control, like a way to control other people and tell them like, hey, I have the answer. If you don't follow me, then bad things will happen to you because I have the answer. And I mean, there's a lot of like very unscientific stuff that's also in the Bible. Like in Leviticus 14, they tell you that the way to clean up like black mold in your house is to like wash all your like walls. And, like that's good, right? Like you probably should like clean up the mold and wash all your walls. But then it says to like slice open like a dove and something else, like 2 birds and splatter the blood all over that room. And that's how you clean up that black mold. And it's like, what? That's not scientific. The first part was, but then you just like undid all of the like cleanliness when you splattered blood everywhere.
Yeah, there's also a part of the Bible where it says in order for you to get striped calf from a pregnant cow, you have to make sure that the cow and the bull, mate in front of stripe patterns.
Yeah,
that's not at all. Yeah, that's not at all how exactly. That's not at all how genetics works. So we know that the Bible says things that are, wrong, like just not even misinterpreted. It's just wrong,
Yeah, like bunnies, they don't chew cud. Like that's like one of the qualifiers on whether or not they are a clean or unclean animal for sacrifice. And like then we're talking about sacrificing animals to a god. Like do you hear what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean that was of course a culture for the Hebrews that day.
Now, see, but pause, because Jesus says, and even in the like old prophets, when the Messiah comes and brings like the new world and earth, the Levitical sacrifices are still there. Like those laws are still to be followed. So we're supposed to still be sacrificing animals.
Well, that might be another conversation, right? On the context of that, you know.
This is
I would love to have that
this is what
conversation
Jesus even
one
backs
day.
up and says, you know, I have not come to abolish the law.
But
I have come to fulfill
Yeah.
the prophecies, but I've not come to abolish the law, and that I will bring the new world. But that is just it didn't happen. You know, obviously he was talking about the the destruction of the Second Temple era of Jerusalem and Israel at that time, and the encroaching Roman Empire, but the prophecies are saying you should be spilling the blood of these animals until the end of time, forever. And we just know that that's not true, right?
I mean, that's Israelites. But like I said, that's another. I mean, again, that's a whole different topic. I would love to have that conversation with y'all one day. To kind of pick more into your mindset on how you interpret the word, from that perspective. I'll leave you with this, right? Like, because I'm a logical guy. I'm an IT nerd, and
well, yeah, that's why I'm bringing up these really wild things, is because this is a book that's 2,000 years old, obviously, and they're talking about sacrificing animals.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I would say this, right? I think there's events, things that take place, right? And I give y'all that caters to, again, the intellect of beings at that point in time, right? But then we also see some things that go beyond the intellect of just those individuals at that point in time, right? And that's the part that I think I see people overlooking, is the events and things that go beyond that culture 3,000 years ago. But here's my logical thing for all of this, right? It's one, the universe began, right? And so in my mind, I'm a chess player too. So it's that mean we need a cause, right? Because the mind, to me, logically says we need a cause. So if that cause, we understand, and even kind of looking at science, which I like science, that cause must be outside space, time, and matter, right? We got to agree on that, right?
No, we don't.
No,
we can't. If we don't agree that things outside of space, time, and matter.
What does that even mean? What does outside space time matter mean?
One of the number one principles is energy can't be created or destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would mean that energy, it has to exist out of space, time, and matter.
Energy has to exist outside of space, time, and matter.
Energy, matter, and energy, matter, and time they're all
one thing.
Yeah.
But you have space and the way we see it.
Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared?
Yeah.
So what do you think E means?
Trying to think back to this equation.
E means energy.
E means energy.
Energy times mass times the speed of light squared. That's what C means. C means it's the constant for the speed of light. Mm-hmm. So now we can directly see that energy and mass or matter are connected. And then with speed of light, we now have time connected into that too. So all three are relative to each other. And that's what the theory of relativity means.
But he also said the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it's comprehensible, right? And his suggestion towards that was that this rational structure, right, of the universe, that we see it, hints at a rational mind that's behind it.
So now you're running tag. You're running the transcendental argument.
Yeah,
that's Einstein.
Not bad.
That's not Einstein. Einstein didn't say that.
But yeah, this.
Einstein didn't say that.
That's a different argument, and that's more saying since things are able to be understood, rationality, that there must be this mind that has to pretty much confirm rationality. Otherwise, it's kind of like if I said I saw a ghost and Volcy was there and he also saw the ghost, it'd be more believable because both of us confirmed each other that we both saw the ghost. So the God is the other person saying like, yeah, reality makes sense. But in my eyes, the universe is this eternal, like, outside set, and that we are within it, realizing it. We are the universe, like, realizing itself, right? Like, we are part of the universe. We also rationalize what we are a part of.
Right. So in a simple form,
And that's because of, evolution, and like the brain structure. And
so let me say this, right? In my at the very basic core of my thought and belief, information comes from intelligence. Would y'all agree?
no.
What does that mean?
You don't agree information comes from intelligence?
I
What does
would
that
say
mean?
that information is just like a
So
way of like us to
Communicating.
to, like, or it's more of like
okay, so is life
information-
not built on information?
information. Like like I always think of like Stephen Hawking's and black holes when I think of information, because information is just like data, right? Like measurements, the ability to measure something, to realize something, to observe something. Now, when something goes into a black hole, it was for the longest time considered that information was gone and we could not ever retrieve that information again. Thus, that the universe was slowly slipping into black holes, and that sooner or later all information would cease to exist within this black hole and we wouldn't know where it goes. But Hawking radiation was discovered, and it showed that we can derive information from that black hole, and that black hole, through radiation and giving out energy, will all like kind of give us kind of a receipt of what happened. So information also does not like go anywhere. It's eternal. It's along with energy.
Yeah, and information is not a thing unto itself. It's basically how we
Right.
communicate with each other. Like if I were to tell you this hat is white, it's because you already understand what hat means and what white means, because we made up those words. You see what I'm saying? Even though white hat is a piece of information.
Right. So,
Right.
but the information that we use within science, right, about the world, these come from individuals with an intellect. correct?
Observation. So
Like it had to be derived. I'm getting to the very core of information before you can share it. It had to come from intellect.
Right, but like but you're making information
minds had to
the-
come together to think.
right.
To
The
create
problem
the intelligence to give information.
Right, hold
the
on,
cart before
coach.
the horse again.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting the cart before the horse. You're making information a thing onto itself rather than a language that we speak to each other.
right,
So-
information is just a way we describe the universe as we know it.
Exactly. Like for example, the number 2 is a piece of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hand me the number 2?
Yes.
No,
No, you can't. You cannot hand me the number 2.
it only exists
Why
within
else
our
would
mind.
you
Like
give it to you.
that's not the
You
number
can
two, though.
you can give me 2 objects. Hold on, wait, Cole, listen. You can give me 2 objects. You can give me the objects, but I'm asking for the number 2 itself. Can you give that to me? You can't.
I would say
can't.
no.
Exactly, yeah, because it exists in our mind. It's the same thing with information. Without our minds, information doesn't exist. It's information that it's data that we give to each other. It's the way that we describe the universe. If you're saying that without us, information somehow exists, you're gonna have to prove that.
No, I'm saying step 0, that a mind, right, and what we see today in our fields of study, that came from someone that had an intellect or the ability, right, to develop ideas, thoughts that made sense to other people, so that information is fed. That's what I'm saying. Step 0. So that's what I was asking you. Do you agree that information comes from intelligence?
Yeah, us.
Right. So just like me being a 2,300 rated chess player, absolutely the grandmasters or those that created the game had the intellect to create that chemistry, right? To give that information. That's how I learned it.
Right. So what I'm saying is that I understand where you're going with this.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that does not exist without humans. What you're talking about, the entire process, it does not exist without some sort of intelligence already being there. What you're doing is that you're saying that there was already an intelligence before us that existed outside of space and time that gave us the information, but you cannot make that connection. How do you know that exactly? Because again, information is not a thing but by itself. It has to exist with us.
Yeah, that's you right where I'm at with it, right? It's like logically that had like in my mind, right? Not maybe your mind, but logically in my mind, step zero has to occur in life, right? In what we see in this universe, there has to be an intelligence.
Right. We agree, but what we're disagreeing on is where you're putting that intelligence. I'm putting that intelligence with us as humans. You're putting that intelligence into some sort of mind cosmic being that you can't prove exists.
Where would you get? Because if energy, right? If energy always existed, right? It can't be created nor destroyed. It means it always existed. So if that means it was here before humans.
Yeah, energy is a property of a system. It's not a thing unto itself.
Right. But how do we, but for us to get to a point to analyze and call it energy, right? To study it as energy, to create.
To rationalize things.
We made it up.
Like, I understand that it is impressive that we are able to rationalize the universe.
There you go.
We are,
that's it right there. Yeah.
Like we are separate from pretty much any other species of life that we understand.
Right.
That we are able to do these types of things. Certain great apes and like bonobos and things like that can make like tools and art and stuff like that, but to the level of communication and complexity that we have, I get what you're saying there, but if we just look at just evolution and the way that like the fossil record looks, we can see that this is all a product of just that, like survival, that somehow this rationality and ability to make sense and to like create these measurements was part of just a survival like technique, and it's not completely necessary. I don't think that rationalizing and knowing the universe is actually even necessarily a good thing, right? Like if we think about it, there's a lot of there's a lot of like bad things that happen, in our like kind of moral structure, if you will. Like evolution takes a lot of death to get that. Like it took a lot of monkeys dying and a lot of fish dying and a lot of to get to these levels of life that we're at right now, and that's a lot of suffering to go through if you think about it.
No, I don't disagree with that, right? But it's this is my last thing for sure, man. This thing is just some of this is fascinating to me, right? With my mind work, but it's like we need the sun, right? We like there's certain things in the universe that we need to live,
correct,
and it has to work in a harmonious way, in an order.
We wouldn't know that if we didn't have that, right? So like we only know that because we already have it, right? So
but it was
again we're putting the cart before the horse.
That's my point. Like it was always there. That order and that need had to be there before we could actually look at it and say, oh, we need this because we need oxygen, right? And we're gonna call it H2O. Right? We go through that scientific process to call it what it is. But it had to exist already for us to live.
What had to exist already?
That order had to exist, and all I'm saying is I can't see that order not existing with an intelligence for us to even grab.
Hold on. Coach, what order? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I gotta wrap this up here in like the next
yeah.
minutes, because we're gonna do a restart.
Gotcha. When I was reading, this is a long time ago, right? Science class. The sun is in a specific position, right? Away from Earth. and don't quote me on how many like
It's called a Goldilocks zone.
We're in the Goldilocks zone, yeah. But so what, Coach? Because there's plenty of planets that are also in the Goldilocks zone. As a matter of fact, Venus is in the Goldilocks zone. The only reason why Venus is the way that it is because of the clouds. But if Venus had similar atmosphere to Earth, like we would probably be able to land there and walk around and stuff. It'll be pretty hot, but we could do it if Venus had the same atmosphere that Earth had. So it's we're in the Goldilocks zone, but so what? There are dozens of planets in the Goldilocks zone.
Right. So in my mind, it's like you think outside of that and you say, okay, any closer, any further away, there's catastrophic, right? There's catastrophic activities that's going to take place. Any closer,
it's actually it's quite a large like swing of area that the Goldilocks zone falls within, depending on like what kind of star you're near.
Exactly. The Goldilocks zone is a few million kilometers even around us, right? So if you move the Earth back a million kilometers, it's not going to make much of a difference. Maybe we'll go from 24 hours to 25 hours, but that's probably it.
Yeah. But in terms of heat?
No, it'll still be like around the same temperature.
Right.
Probably like 1 or 2 degrees hotter. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, and there's nothing that says that we can't have like nitrogen-based life or like we have carbon-based life here right now, but that there's nothing out there that doesn't say that like nitrogen-based life or silicone-based life could exist. I mean, we could create AI at some point where a brain is just made out of silicone and electronic parts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hear you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, right? It's just things like
yeah, I gotta get going actually. And we do gotta wrap this up. So Coach, do appreciate it. It was a good discussion.
Yeah, good discussion.
Yeah, I like all these questions. I like talking to you. You should come around some more often, okay?
Yep, we'll do. Hey, y'all take care.
Yep, all right, take care, bro. Peace.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Volcy. My parents are coming. I gotta watch a dog because my mom's gotta go to the doctor tomorrow.
Not a problem.
But Joyful is going to come back on this account. They're going to do just a reset, and then Joyful will be on this account.
All right, cool. Not a problem.
We're going to
I'll come back.
We're just going to do a quick swap out.
All right, cool. I'll come back soon.
Yeah. Everybody, just keep your eyes out. Thanks. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Are you there? It's okay. It's just me. Jesus. Do you need some wine? Or a little cry? Don't be scared. Don't ask why. spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Are you there? Are you there? It's okay. It's okay. It's just me. It's just me. Jesus. Jesus. Do you need some wine? Or a little cry? Don't be scared.